Hello, everybody. My name is Debbie Esplin, and today I'm going to talk to you about my vegetable garden this year outside and the 6 benefits of having an outdoor vegetable garden. So, if you like that content, then stay for the video and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. So, first of all, I have about, I think it's 200 square feet of vegetable garden, and it's mostly long, narrow strips around the house. There's a few other little strips in various parts of the garden, but it's not like one big square. It's all little strips all over the place. One benefit of that is that I get sunshine in certain parts and less sunshine in other parts. So vegetables that maybe don't like so much sun or don't like the heat as much, I can put them in the areas where there's less sun. And then the vegetables like tomatoes. Oh, hi, Deb. Nice to see you. How are you doing? Um, and vegetables like tomatoes that like a lot of sun, I can put them where it's sunny. And by the way, so Deb, she's a friend of mine on YouTube, and she has a channel called Glowing Older and Healthier. So give her a check out. Check out her channel after this video. She's got a lot of good stuff. And hi, Naz Kitchen Secrets. How are you doing, Princess? Nice to see you here too. And Naz also has a YouTube channel, so check out hers as well. And before I get back to my garden, I'll just give you a very brief summary of what I do. I do healthy eating, healthy living, good recipes, and tips and information around food. So today it's an update on my vegetable garden. So in my garden, let me tell you about the stuff that didn't work first. Let's do the fails. Wow. I didn't have enough space, so I thought, and I wanted to grow radishes. So I put them in a container. It didn't work. Now, I don't know if it's because I didn't water them often enough, but I watered them pretty often. They were in a sunny spot. Were they getting too much sun? I'm going to have to research radishes. I was told they're easy to grow, so I didn't do any research. I just said, I'm going to give it a try, but it didn't work. And the other thing that didn't work was mint. Now, I've grown mint in the ground, no problem. The thing with mint is it takes over like crazy. So I decided this year I'm going to grow it in a container, and it didn't like it. It barely grew. So let me see. I've got some comments here. Oh, thank you. Best wishes to you as well, Naz. And Deb says, oh, so you do container gardening. Well, if you have any hints for container gardening, Deb, I'd love to hear them because so far my container gardening hasn't worked. And you've got some raised beds, so that's good. So the only 2 things I tried to grow into containers this year were the radishes and the mint, and it was just a total failure. Didn't get anything. I couldn't even get more than just a few tiny little mint leaves. I couldn't even make a cup of tea with them. It was so pitiful. But I'm going to research it over the winter and we'll see what we do next year. I've already figured out I'm going to put the mint back into the ground, but I have a space that's really contained where it can't get out into the grass or into the rest of the garden and take over. So I'm going to put my mint there and we'll see how that goes. But it's a slightly shady spot. I think it will be okay, but we will see. And let me share the rest of my garden. Yeah, the Inca berries. I want to grow those next year. They sound really good. And freezing them for your shakes, that's great. And having them from your own garden, that's even better. So now let me share with you what did work with my garden. I'm just going to share my screen right now. And here we go. Share the screen. I got to find the right screen to share. It's a window I want. Okay. So I hope you can see that. I'm just checking my phone because I'm just trying to see if it actually works for you. And I don't see that it does. Okay, it's just a delay. So I grew green beans and I had them just growing up on a wooden chicken wire fence, and that worked really well. I got almost a kilo, about 2 pounds. So that's not a lot, but we did have a very hot summer and they didn't like the heat. So they grew at the beginning of the year and they grew at the end of the year. And for squash, I planted 4 squash plants, but I put 3 of them on the really sunny side of the house, and they didn't like that. The only squash plant that gave me 1 squash out of the entire 4 plants, And it was also almost a kilo and 2 pounds. So that was my story with these two. These were the least successful of my vegetables. There's also carrots and snow peas. They were also not very many. The carrots, though, are delicious, but I only got half a kilo, 1.2 pounds. And I have to research why. The snow peas, I know why they didn't work. We had a really hot summer and they just died on me. I had a little bit at the beginning of the summer, and then when the heat hit, that was it. So I got hardly any of those. But what else worked? Zucchini. I had a lot of zucchini, almost 3 kilos, which is over 6 pounds. And I was giving it away to friends and using it in everything I could. And it was great. I had all summer long, I had zucchini from my garden. I didn't actually buy zucchini until last week was the first time I bought zucchini, because I also had some frozen. Cherry tomatoes, 3 kilos, 6.6 pounds. Now that may not sound like a lot, but since I had a lot of tomatoes, I was only using the cherry tomatoes on salads. And so I'm still finishing off the last of the cherry tomatoes, believe it or not. I have not yet bought any. And I started planting my garden in May, mid-May to end of May. And I started getting tomatoes at the end of July. So we're talking, August, September, October, November, almost into December, getting tomatoes from my garden. That's really good. Cucumber, had a lot of that. And the cucumber from my garden is so delicious and so crunchy. If you've never had a fresh cucumber straight from someone's garden, oh, you don't know what you're missing. It's like the carrots. The carrots are so sweet, they're like candy. I could eat them like candy. So I got almost 7 kilos, which is like 15 pounds of cucumbers. So yeah, there was cucumbers going into everything. Smoothies and salads and soup and sandwiches. And of course, my doggy would get a little bit every day too, a little piece every day as well. And of course, my friends got some as well. Tomatoes, almost 13 kilos, which is almost 30 pounds. That's how many tomatoes I got. And I still have about 10 green tomatoes left, but I've given up on them turning red. So what I'm doing instead is I'm putting them into stews and casseroles and soups, just green, because they're starting to, rot a little bit. As I mean, we shut down the tomato garden around early October because it was starting to get pretty cold. So these guys have been sitting around for almost 2 months, and in the hopes that they'll turn red. But now I realize, no, they're just going to rot. They won't turn red. But imagine, so I have a freezer full of tomato soup and tomato sauce and even just stewed tomatoes just ready for me to turn into soup or a casserole or something else. And it's so amazing. Fresh tomatoes are so amazing. So that's what I did with my vegetable garden this year. And I'm pretty pleased with that. Just give me a sec. I'm going to take a sip of water here. And by the way, if you like this content, then click the like button and subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. Have you ever tried to grow anything in a container, inside or outside, that you were going to hopefully eat? Yeah, cucumber soup. Well, the recipe I use, it's a cold cucumber soup, but it's really refreshing and it's very good. So I will have to do a video on that one of these days. But I've also put them even very lightly sauteed, like just very lightly sauteed. They're also really good with sauteed vegetables, but it's like the tomatoes. If I put tomatoes and cucumber into sauteed vegetables, I do it right at the end and they get about 10 seconds and that's it. Just enough to warm them up. So now let's talk about the 6 benefits that I like in having a backyard vegetable garden. I'm sure there's more, but these are the 6 main ones that I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to go back to my presentation and we will look at that. That took me back to the beginning, but that's okay. So benefit number 1, it saves money. Now, I did this calculation based on the total weight of what I grew. And I used the prices from about 2 weeks ago. But I went looking for everything that was on sale. I went looking for sale prices because I know now the prices of produce is higher than it was in the summer. So I was trying to find sale prices that were really close to what the summer prices would be. And I saved almost $700. And in my garden, I didn't tell you about this, I have a whole long strip that's full of herbs. I have lovage, cilantro, um, oregano, rosemary, thyme, basil, chives, and parsley, lavender, and dill. I didn't calculate those. I was using those. I started using them in June, and I used them right up until the end of October, beginning of November, when it was really into the freezing temperatures, and they turned brown. So I got all those months of every day going out and getting fresh herbs from my garden, and then in August I started drying them in my instant pot because it's also an air fryer and it has a dehydrate function. So I have a freezer full of dehydrated herbs to use for my own garden. I don't have to buy any herbs. And also, I had leafy greens. So I had spinach, kale, lettuce, and watercress and arugula. And every single day, right from June right through to mid October, or even for the kale, end of October, I was going out and I was getting my leafy greens from the garden for everything, whether it was for soups, for salads, for casseroles, for whatever. I didn't buy one leafy green from June until 2 weeks ago when I bought my first bag of spinach. So I'm not even including the cost of that in this calculation because I don't know what it would be. But, that's a significant saving if you consider, maybe 4 to 5 months of not buying any vegetables. The only vegetables I bought this summer was the occasional bell pepper and carrots and celery because I wasn't growing celery. The carrots only came in the fall, and potatoes a little bit. That's it. Everything else came out of my garden. So it can save you money. This is another benefit that I just love. The taste. When you taste something that's fresh from your garden, it hasn't been picked and then gone to sit in a truck for a half a day or a day, go to a location where it sits again, where gets washed and sorted and packed, and then goes in another truck for a half a day or a day, and then sits in a warehouse maybe for a couple of days to a couple of weeks, depending on if it's, berries or potatoes or even longer. And then it sits in the grocery store. And that's assuming it's coming from not too far away. If it's coming from California, Florida, Europe, South America, Mexico, wherever, then we're talking about a much longer transit time because it goes by boat, right? So the taste. If you don't like vegetables, then I challenge you to grow your own and taste them, or go to a friend who grows their vegetables and taste the vegetables. They are so good. It's like candy. I just can't stop eating vegetables when they come from my garden. Another benefit is they're more nutritious, and that's because fruits and vegetables, they lose a lot of nutrition during transport and storage. So if you go to your local farmer's market and he picked them that morning or the day before, there's not much loss. But if you're talking about, like I said, a few days to a few weeks of transport and sitting in storage, there's a big nutrition loss. And that makes a difference, because you want to get as much nutrition as you can for the calories you put in your body. This is another benefit. This may not resonate with everyone, but when you grow your own food, it improves your connection to the earth and your appreciation for the land, for where we live, the beauty of where we live, the amazing wonder of just watching plants grow and then flowers, and then seeing the bees come to your flowers, and then seeing vegetables start to grow. I mean, it's a fascinating thing to watch. And to know that you're kind of doing this, you're a part of this activity, and at the end of it, you get food to eat, it really does build your appreciation and your sense of just being a part of the earth and caring about the earth. And I think that's something that in our modern life, very often we have a tendency to lose that connection, especially if we live in cities and we don't have a lot of forest and parkland and wild land around us. And if we don't grow our own food, then our connection to the land could really be getting in the car, going to work, going to the gym, going to the grocery store, going back home, partying with friends, whatever. But it's nothing to do with the land and the water and the seasons and the earth. So I think that's a benefit that makes a difference to people. And number 5, gardening is soothing. It's calming. When you go out there, and it's actually, I don't find it's a lot of work. There's a little bit of weeding, a little bit of planting in the beginning, a little bit of weeding, a little bit of maintaining the plants, a little bit of watering, but I find it really pleasurable because I go out, when it's a little bit less hot, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and work in my garden, or 9 o'clock before it gets super hot in the morning, and just do a little bit, and it just totally calms me down, and it sets me up for my day, or it sets me up for my evening, gets me into a good place, and I'm just happy. And then seeing my food grow and then harvesting it and eating it, well, that's really soothing as well and pleasing. And then the last benefit, and once again, I hope this resonates with you, but it may not, sustainability. So we are a lot of people on this earth, and we are using the earth's resources. And in order to still have a functional planet in 100 or 200 years, we do need to change some of our practices. And I'm sure there is a big long list of them. The UN has a big long list of them, but one of them is sustainability in terms of just trying to grow your own fruits and vegetables. Because if you do that, you're not that's less fruits and vegetables that are coming from big farms that use herbicides and pesticides and mechanical methods of growing, and maybe don't keep the soil, don't let the soil rest enough so that it can build back its nutrition between crops, or that don't necessarily use practices that are the best for the soil or the best for the ecosystem, because it's not as financially efficient or sustainable. It's more expensive for them. And the other thing, so that's one really big advantage, is you're helping to save the planet. And if you really don't want to grow your own vegetables, or you really feel you can't, well, then another option is just go to your local farmer's market as much as you can, or try to buy vegetables locally as much as you can. So tell me, what do you think about those 6 benefits? And do you have any questions? Yes, I'm just reading what Deb has to say. There's nothing better than walking by, picking a fresh bean and eating it right then. Yeah, nibble garden. I know, I do that all summer too. I go out every day. I would go out, I'd have some parsley and some chives in the morning before my breakfast, when my dog is out doing her first break of the day. And I would also usually go get some basil, and maybe I'd grab myself a leaf of lettuce or a piece of spinach. If I've got beans, I'll grab a bean and eat it. So yeah, I agree. It's great. Oh, hi, Tamsin. How are you doing? Oops, did I just, oh, there we go. Here we go. Yeah, fresh beets. I've never tried to grow fresh beets, and I might try. They're not expensive here at any time of the year, really. So I wasn't so interested in growing the vegetables that tend to be less expensive, like turnips, not expensive, cabbage, potatoes. But, I bet fresh beets would taste a lot better than store-bought beets. So I might try that. And by the way, walking with Tamsin, I can't pronounce your name right now, sorry, has a really interesting YouTube channel. So check out his channel as well. Yeah, peas. I know. Snow peas are great. I didn't get very many because we had a hot summer, but when I can. Beet greens. I've heard they make a great salad. Yeah, that's true. And I use my carrot. I use my carrot greens in stock. I put them in when I make vegetable stock. I just put them in, and they're really good. But I've also read that you can do a nice salad with carrot greens. I didn't try it yet, but oh, these are all great ideas, guys. Thanks for stopping by and sharing. Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Tamsin. Uh, Thanks for sharing all your great ideas. So that's my vegetable garden for this year. And I'll come back in a little while and let you know if my indoor vegetable garden is going to work. Right now, it's not going too well, but hopefully it will. I will do some research and get it working better. We will see. So, everybody, if you like this content, then click the like button and subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends. And if you watch this after the live play, then please do let me know if you've ever tried to grow anything. And if you have, what is your favorite thing to grow? And thank you so much to everybody who has come on the live stream and check out their channels after the video. I will put links in the video description. Everybody, be well. Have a good day. Thanks a lot. And check out my cooking videos and my other videos with tips and information on food. Bye, everybody. Take care. Thanks so much for checking in with your good ideas, everybody.